Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries to start work week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries. We have all your gore, lore, and more. Covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all those juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright lights while we take you on a tour of terror.
Hello. Good evening. Hello.
What up, everybody?
Hello.
What's going down? Welcome back. We are here. Well, I do have green hair.
If I had hair, it would be green.
What's going on? Yes, the live stream is coming from inside the house. But which house is it? We're all hiding in one. You guys got to find our addresses and come get us.
I'm in
that's the game. It's like those YouTubers who do those crazy hide and seeks that are like Mr. Beast knockoffs, where they're like, let's do let's you got an hour to hide, and then like the other people are gonna come find you. And then if they find you, you get a bunch of money or something.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
We should do that.
I think I saw it on TikTok. Yes. I am here. Dylan resurrected.
Yep.
What did I do?
Last week, remember you had a bunch of tech issues.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I was like,
what got you in the end?
So confused. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that was really dumb. I found out what happened. And I thought my internet went out, but it wasn't. My VPN turned off because just FYI, too much information. In the week of like craziness that was the April or whatever, I lost my bank card, so I had to get a new one. So like I did that thing where I procrastinated a bunch of my billings until they all are like, hey, you got to fix this. So I've just been going one by one.
I hate that
one I had been neglecting because I was like, well, if I stretch this a little further, this will actually show up a little bit closer to payday. So I'm like, I can really make my payments more flexible. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Basically, my VPN decided to click off and then click back on for some reason right after. And then it was like, there you go. So I was like, okay, well, that was my bad. Sorry.
We made it through, Dylan. It's okay. Yeah, but
it was very scary.
We did have a funeral. I did desecrate Dylan's corpse. And that was a good Tuesday.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Yes, a good corpse desecration goes a long way. We all know that.
Kind of gets you started.
It isn't Dylan. Not anymore. It's a deadite.
Yeah. No, I'm speaking of like resurrecting things or like a little bit of a monkey's paw scenario. Adrian, did you get a chance to check out Obsession this week?
No, I've been hearing so many good things about it. Good news is my fiance really wants to check it out, so it won't be long.
Yeah.
Great love story.
It's a good one. It's a very wholesome love story. No, it's a good movie. Damn, Gracie saw Obsession twice already.
That's how you know it's gas.
Yeah, I saw it. Hell yeah, everybody's got it. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I've been usually okay. So, like, we talked about this last time. Wild to see in the theater. Absolutely. Usually when a movie like this, again, I in my video I put out this week that is not doing well at all. I get it. I'm going back to the well. I know where my place is, guys. I hear you. No, the thing about that is like we've been getting so many nice comments of people who went and saw the movie because I put that on Friday and the movie had come out like they had their pre-screening. So like comments in there have been people just being like, oh my God, I love it. And it's like, yes, there's a ton of people, thankfully. I love you all who come in and give our videos a shout and sometimes come in and comment. But like, it's been great to see all the recognizable faces. Many of you have commented on videos just saying how much you loved it and how awesome it is. Because it really genuinely feels like I haven't seen a single person who has said anything remotely negative about Obsession yet. Like, I guess it might be out there. But to me, it was just like all the horror people, or at least the opinions I care about and like to listen to. It's like everybody seems to be on board with this. So it's like, that's cool. That's very rare. It seems like the last time that happened, I think initially with Sinners, but like since then, it's been a while since I feel like everybody's been so unanimously on board with a horror movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's been really excited about it. I know I saw a post, someone, just poking fun at, it's been 100 years, but finally critics and audiences agree on a film because I think Obsession was sitting at 95% from both critics as well as audience members. which is funny. I've seen only positive things about it, but obviously since there's probably some negativity on that Rotten Tomatoes, I haven't taken a look, but I do want to go take a peek just to see, because for me, it's like that film hits so hard because of from the character aspect, just from the situation, how unforgivably horror it is like it is so well constructed, and there's a lot of great tension. There are moments that actually get you, especially like us seeing so many different horror films throughout the year, but Obsession is one of those films where the sound design will get you in certain places, just the acting. Dylan, you brought up in our, I think, a review, or it was the video we did on Curry Barker, where you were talking about, how he uses shadows. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. It's like it's so well constructed across the board. I'm curious to see what any sort of negativity is out there, because obviously it's out there, but it's like I just want to sneak a peek at whatever those remarks are, because I don't know, it would be really grasping at straws. I think Curry Barker really understands horror.
Dylan, you're muted.
Miming again.
My bad. Sorry. Well, like on my end, sometimes your mic like gets in this weird like awkward spot. And Adrian, are you pushed to talk?
No.
Okay, I was curious because like sometimes I find that if I mute myself while you're talking, it fixes it. So I was just like, I'm just gonna do that in case, because I don't know if everybody hears it, but I do sometimes. It's like it just sounds like you're on a lower tone than like normal. Like you're talking, but it sounds like it can't like get past a certain threshold. And then when I mute, I almost think like my microphone's creating some kind of issue. So I don't know. Point is, back to Obsession. Yeah, I don't think you want anybody to be as obsessed as Nikki's character gets in that. That's it's very uncomfortable. But yeah, it is one of those where it's like I think there will be some people who are detractors. Obviously, I think one of the big things that I think is super annoying that I've seen a ton of people already jumping on is all of like the consent kind of like narrative here, and how like some people are just being like, oh, it's just talking about how men are bad and everything. It's like, no, it's like it's just using a device, like whether it's sexual, non-sexual, a deal, anything. Humans are like, we understand what consent is, and when you break that and force that away from somebody, that's the horror of this movie. And it's like, I don't understand why people are trying to like make it so complicated. And it's like, it's not. It's literally, it's like the same thing with Talk to Me, where it's like Talk to Me is like it's almost like peer pressure, where it's like it's just everybody's doing it, so I should do it too. And it's just like it's these little tiny messages, and they just found a way to work a really interesting kind of creepy story around it, and it works.
Yeah, and the way Curry Barker approaches the topic, because just being obsessed, granting a wish, things like that, it's not necessarily the most original, but the way he approaches it 100%. And the way he travels down the realm of horror with that, because there are scenes in there that will jump out at you literally, where it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And I love that because it adds a whole new element of tension and just kind of, losing that autonomy in a sense. And it just puts a completely different spin, because there has always been this one particular approach to it, but the way Curry Barker added in it, like on paper, it's a minor element, but when you actually see it acted out and you see the stakes of the situation, how it really ups the ante, it just changes that element of horror completely. It flips it.
Absolutely. And it's like, it's such a, because like, I love this because it's like what Gracie's saying here is like there are a lot of people who think like it's their way or the highway, or it's like they only validate their own feelings, and it's really scary. And it's like sometimes I think one of the, and I don't want to get into spoilers because of course there are people in here who haven't seen it, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, dude, the level of like, I guess you'd say what complicates the character of Bear, without getting into spoilers, is just like the inability to like make decisions, or the inability to face fears. And it's like something that it's like even me, like dealing with personal stuff recently, it's like the inability to like face something head on and just try to bury your head in the sand and pretend everything's normal. It's like it's such a very twisted, nice way to kind of I guess shed some light onto how like he's very much the antagonist in the story. It's like they want you to think it's Nikki with everything, but it's like he's very much the character that you need to be wary about.
Yeah, and I love that approach because It's like everything that you see Nikki going through, and then the way, Bear makes that call. We've seen it in the trailer where he's talking, it is Curry Barker on the other end where he's asking about the wish and stuff like that. And you see this, in his head, he knows what exactly is going on, but I don't think he wants to come to terms with it. Especially, there are a few scenes in there that are like, oh, that's happening right now when we know kind of his struggle, the dynamic, and the how authentic it is or is not. And it's like, man, okay, we're really going down that route. And there are certain scenes in here that really do make you feel icky. And Nikki, Indy Navarrete, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I apologize if it's wrong. I know we tried to do it in the trailer or in our review, but she puts on a phenomenal performance, and she is scary at times. But then when you look at it, Bear's perspective, you're like, man, that's not a good look, buddy.
I completely agree. She's terrifying. I think, like, if anybody is going to become a breakout from Obsession, it's probably going to be her. Like, no shade to the actor who played Bear. They did a good job, but it's like she kind of steals the show. Yeah. I mean, it's like it's when you're playing somebody who's that, like, on edge and is able to, I think the part that gets me in the performance is just like the ability to drop in and drop out when we have these kind of hiccup moments, and it's amazing. And that's, I mean, like, without again getting into spoilers, it's really it's kind of scary how, like, well they're able to do that. And it's like, it's really effective. And I think, like, it's something so small, but it makes the whole performance just that next level that you're looking for when it comes to like I guess one of those, like, I would almost say like in like Possession, just like that kind of level of just commitment and insanity is like what you're getting here, and it's insane.
You definitely get those vibes from Possession, like the arguments and things like that. I mean, it is on that level in terms of how uncomfortable you feel at times, but how captivated you feel from just the horror elements of it. And to get into just one little other aspect of this where, you talk about like Bear and what he's going through and stuff like that, but we get some more context and texture to the relationship of Bear and Nikki before all this goes down. We get it. And it's just like, man, because, you can kind of lose yourself in what if scenarios, but then to understand what exactly is going on. And when you start understanding everything, it just, again, Curry Barker continuously ups the ante throughout this. Once we get into, we do the One Wish Willow. I said it in our review. I didn't feel comfortable at all watching that. It was kind of, I did feel squirmy in my seat every time we would get into certain scenes, just because of the relationship dynamic, just the way the actors put on these performances, and just the relationship between both of them. It just all across the board becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah, I really liked it. Speaking of Gracie's point here, that is the moment too that I was like, oh God, like, this is man, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of had a feeling that, like, where the movie goes, it's like, I think there's only one direction for this after that part. So, but that's all we'll say. Again, Adrian hasn't even seen it, so I don't want to prolong the conversation and spoil even more for him or anybody else. But I'm glad everybody's.
What it's doing is get me hyped to go see it, though. I'll tell you that for sure. I'm nothing but positivity.
100%. Yes, Stephanie, definitely. I was creeped out. Like, this was one of those ones where it was like, we saw this and Hokum like back to back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. So like that was a crazy week. And just so everybody knows, I also saw Hungry, the hippo movie, literally like an hour, like 2 hours before Obsession. So it's like,
how would you rank them, Dylan?
Oh, I mean, like, Obsession is probably the superior film, I think, of the three, just from a standpoint of it being a breakout movie. It feels fresh, it's exciting, it's dangerous, it's cool, it's awesome, it's fun. And then Hokum is like a movie I'm so excited to keep coming back to. I think there's so much more there beyond just like the scary ghost story that they're doing, and I really appreciate that. But it's just two different kinds of movies, and yeah, Hungry, I can't talk about, but it's good. That's all I'll say. Yep.
I don't know what Kim's saying, but I'm terrified. Write this wish into your vows. Oops. Go ahead.
Good.
Oops. All right. Life hack. and Is God are also good.
Yes, Is God is. We do want to see that. We were trying to get screeners for that because they had a screening for it, but it was Monday, and when we found out about it, it was like we had a couple hours before it, and it was like, no, we can't make that.
That is one that is very intriguing. I remember seeing that trailer in the theater, and I've watched it a handful more times since just that seeing it in the theater, and I'm very excited about that one. Hopefully, we can fit that into the schedule because it looks really good.
Yeah, I do. I'm so curious about that concept. Like, it's like there's so because it's one of those where it seems like it's dipping into like crime, but also like there seems to be a little bit of like, I don't know if you want to call it like supernaturalism. Like there's something a little extra. It feels very Tarantino.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like anything can happen in that world, it seems like, and I'm excited about it. And I've heard some good things, so I do want to check it out. And there was somebody here who just said something. Hold on. Oh yes, they absolutely know what they're doing with it. But I'm excited to talk about it. Luke and I are going to be chatting with the director on Tuesday, I think. Are you still down to do that, or were you?
Yeah, I should be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll be doing that, and then that'll be fun. So we're going to be getting to talk with them for a little bit. Yeah, they've been really cool behind the scenes, just with the team behind Hungry and everything. So like, I'm excited to get that one talked about because again, just the last few weeks we've talked about a ton of creature features, and it'll be nice to kind of talk about one that I don't think is half bad. I think it'll kind of surprise some people. So, but other than that, how was everybody else's week? Everybody else do anything fun? I know we kind of jumped into the obsession stuff there, but I mean, what else did everybody watch? Luke, what'd you check out?
Did I watch anything unique? I did not. I'm preparing a list. I don't want to spoil all the films on that list, but I'm doing another hidden gems. So I've just been revisiting some really, really fun films and some absolutely terrifying. There's a found footage film I'm really excited to talk about for Friday's list. It's one that I don't think gets enough love. And my God, I'll tell you, the last 25 minutes of that film are just absolutely insane. And it's uncomfortable. It is so weird. And I'm excited to, ignite a conversation on that one. So I wish I could mention it on here, but you have to wait till Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've been getting the movies to basically make some thumbnails to work my magic on that. And yeah, there's some picks in there for sure. There's some stuff even I haven't seen. So I'm excited. There's at least one in there I know I haven't. So, but yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts as always, sir. Adrian, anything big happening this week? Anything fun?
I watched this fancy movie right here. No, man, just wedding. What do you say?
Oh my goodness!
I said that one's a high tier recommend. Let's see.
I don't do that stuff, man.
Dude, I know. So
cry enough about it.
I've been just wedding. I've been bad. I haven't seen really any movies in theaters recently, but I've been telling my fiance there's so many good ones. But the only movie I've watched recently was I think it's called Once Upon a Time in Mexico or something like that. With,
yeah,
Robert Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Such a good time.
So you started with that one?
Dude, my fiance was telling me that after we got done watching, she goes, we just watched the end of a trilogy. I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, there's 2 whole ass and other movies that we gotta watch.
I mean, that's the biggest budget one with the most star power, I would say, of the 3.
Yeah.
But it's great. The other ones have Antonio Banderas, but it's that one I think that's the one with Johnny Depp in it too, right?
Yep. I loved his character.
A great one. It's a fantastic movie. You will enjoy the other 2 a lot.
I love Desperado. Man, I used to watch that as a kid all the time. I could not get enough of it.
Wild to think how that movie was made, and just for how little money, and it's it still holds up pretty good. It's nice. Nice. Tales from the Crypt. Nice.
I feel like I saw that somewhere, but I don't know if it is Prime.
I know it's on Shudder because wasn't Tales from the Crypt not streaming anywhere? I know that was a big discussion for years.
It was
Tales from the Crypt. It was on, I think, YouTube, but
yeah, it was in limbo for some reason. It was on Tubi for a little bit, I think, and then they took it off, and then it went into limbo for a bit, and then it was oh goodness, it was HBO. Everybody thought HBO Max was going to have it. Then they launched and they said they were having issues with it, and then it got picked up by Shudder. I guess they got the rights, so
I'll tell
that'll
you,
be cool for them.
Little story, a personal story from years ago, because I could not find Tales from the Crypt anywhere. So I purchased the DVD on eBay, and it was like for a really low price. It was like for like $23 or whatever. And I got it shipped and everything like that. And I'm like legitimately tracking, waiting for this to show up. And it's out for delivery. And I'm like at home that entire day. I didn't have to work. And I'm checking the tracking. Finally, it says delivered. I go out and I look. No picture, anything like that. And it's not outside. So I contact them. So what they did was they delivered it to a different house. All they could do was refund me the money. And then by the time I went back, because it was getting close to Halloween, all the prices jumped like $40 and it had never went down. I don't know what the price is now on eBay, but I never went back to look because it was like all of them were like $63 at that point. So I never got my copy, the complete.
I remember this story.
Yeah.
That's ass, dude.
Yeah.
I tell you, I still have nightmares.
But you have been a sly dog who's gotten some good deals. You used to be real like savvy about checking all those Amazon Prime deals when they were doing their Prime days and stuff.
Oh yeah,
you got that the one that I should have, the one I regret I think the most of anything.
Universal Monsters.
Yep, you offered it to me. I saw it and I just said, "Nah, I'm good." And what was it, $20?
Yeah, it was really cheap.
Stupid.
I think it was like maybe 23, 24, something like that at the time.
And the thing that I completely missed about it was that it was not just the individual, like, because I thought it was just all the original, like at least the first one of each of the people.
Yeah,
that thing was all of them.
Yeah.
Everything, all the sequels, even the goofy ones. It's like, oh my god, it was like the box set to get if you wanted Universal Monsters. And it's like, fuck, dude. Like,
I remember when I sent that to you and you didn't jump on it, and I was like, I thought that was a little odd. And then, I think we talked like 2 days later at the gym and you're like, I didn't realize that it was this. And I was like, oh yeah, it was the whole thing. That's why. But I got that Bruce Lee box set too. I remember that same, I had a run there where it was like, it was broke horror fan. I don't think Alex does that anymore.
Yeah.
But,
he retired that.
I used to just always patrol that on Twitter and try and find the deals. And I mean, he threw out some really great stuff, especially during Prime days or whatever.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's certainly one that's that like I wish I had more disposable income, and I just wish the physical media was like worth it. The deals are like hardly even deals anymore because like the movies are already $40 a piece now, so yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's. I hear you, Mr. Boone. I definitely think like at least there's a part of it. And I think that's, again, why I think it's so like, because I think that at least in, I can say most relationships, I feel like this, I can only speak for myself as a dude, but like, I think like every guy, especially like in your first like relationship, especially like that possessiveness of needing to be like, oh, like I'm worried about like you going out and other people being around. It's like you have no control of like yourself basically. Like at first you're like, unless you're like wired correctly, I feel like every dude is like kind of like the worst first boyfriend, maybe. I don't know, but it sucks. And then as things like get better, as you get your heart broken or you learn kind of how relationships work, I think like everybody has to go through it. I think the character in this movie, Bear, I don't think they say it outright, but like this to me feels like his first real attempt at like trying to like get with somebody or be in like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship situation. Did you get that impression?
I think, yeah, no, certainly I did. I think this is like, I think he's been so fixated on Nikki the entire time, where it's like unwilling to pursue any other scenarios because he is so fixated on one person. So it's like, I think, I'm sure he's had the opportunity, but he's been so oblivious or just so kind of tunnel vision that he's dead set on making some sort of relationship with Nikki work and not wanting to come to any sort of realization, in maybe try and pursue other routes or anything like that. So I think it certainly feels that way because he does have that awkward kind of element to it. And what I love about this film, and I think why Curry Barker has such a great understanding of human psychology, I guess, and just relationships in general. Is that like, you know, when you're first dating somebody, you're not really comfortable around them. You know, it's kind of like that feeling out process where you go from like being friends to a completely different scenario. And you can like almost see that in there where Bear is still in that kind of uncomfortable. He's not really, you know, not necessarily vibing the situation, but he's just not comfortable around Nikki yet. But Nikki's like all in because of everything that's going on, you know. So it's like she's in a completely different place than he is. So it's like I was remember watching that, and I think they're, you know, sitting in bed at one point. I'm like, man, this is like kind of uncomfortable to watch, you know, just from that perspective alone, because you could feel like these two people are in a completely different places in the relationship.
I think it also plays into like people's imposter syndrome a little bit too, because like I think there is that expectation, and you can clearly see it. You know, everybody, I think at least, or I've certainly felt this, where like something happens and it totally feels like manufactured. Like this is not like how this is supposed to feel. Like this feels very forced. That is exactly how everything feels after The Wish, and it's like, I think that that adds to that like craziness, because it's like you're really just letting yourself believe this shit. Like you're not letting any of these red flags stick it up, but it's like, again, one of those people where it's like he's just like trying to convince himself even then around every turn that like, no, she does like me for who I am. The wish has nothing to do with it. What it's like, you're fucked, buddy. You're bad. Like, sorry, I'll keep talking. We need to do a spoiler or something eventually. Like, maybe after Adrian sees it, we should do a spoiler talk. I think that'd be great.
Actually, guys, I feel like I've already watched the movie, so I think I can weigh in now. Just saw you guys were Magic Reboot. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know nothing about this.
Luke's a huge Magic fan, so like he sent me this story, and I knew like the second I read that, I'm like, because I think wasn't this hinted at back when Multiverse of Madness came out?
Yeah, they had talked about it. I remember, I think we may have even covered it.
We did it.
But there weren't like too many details at all or anything like that. So just kind of more so a what if scenario. So I know this had been thrown around and it's been dormant for a few years. So we didn't really hear anything about it. So when this popped up, I was like, oh man. And yeah, I do love the film Magic, but I also just love magic in general. Like magicians, you know, things like that. I like
I'm not really feeling
John C. Reilly from Talladega Nights, you know, being the Magic Man. I love all that.
Call me the Magic Man. That's right. Honestly, at Barrett, there's a few moments where she was acting realistic, I thought were scary. Like her scream. Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. She's got a couple of really iconic like screams. Like some of these screams, these wails that she gives in this movie, dude. It's like brings me back to like when Florence Pugh at the beginning of Midsummer. Everybody goes back to Toni Collette, and yes, that is terrifying. But like, I feel like, oh my god, that howling that she does at the beginning of Midsummer is just haunting.
That is haunting. Meg, that opening. I remember I covered it for my cold opens, and that going back to that cold open is still scary.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. Let's see. Oh. Thank you, Silhouetted 5. Holy crap, thank you. I recognize the actress from Session from Superman and Lois. She was one of the main characters in there. I'm glad that her career is getting a boost. Hell yeah, dude. I really love when that happens, especially like character actors, people who like you just know are like they're putting in a lot more effort than I think like some people would in certain roles, and it's like I think those people are the best when they get boosted up into some really good shit. Yeah, she did. Absolutely. Yes, Erica.
Especially with the way, like I said, Curry Barker's got a great understanding of just human psychology. And that stuff works to an extent on the page, but it's only going to get you so far if you don't have people that are going to be able to pick up the ball and carry it, you know, to the end zone. And easily he picked a cast that was fantastic. You buy the chemistry that is going on screen and the stakes of the situation and the really haunting stuff. Like I said, we see so many horror movies that it's hard to really make us jump or catch us off guard because you start anticipating certain beats in a film. But there are so many things that happen in Obsession that caught me off guard each time. Like the one scene where Bear's outside of the bathroom and Nikki's in, you know, as he's talking to her. It's like, my gosh, the way that they use sound in this is downright terrifying. It's like he checked every box in terms of what a horror film should use and every different element to kind of just make the audience terrified. And he got it right, I think, across the board with Obsession.
Ian was played by Seven from Milk and Cereal. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's the
Cooper Tomlinson. They're buddies, so I know they're working on. I know one of our stories is their next. What is it? Anything But Ghosts. They're
why don't we just hop into this?
Amazing segue. Amazing segue.
A natural one, sir. Why don't we just do it? Let's hop into that one first, since we're already talking Obsession. We already hinted a little bit of magic, so let's do that, and then magic right after.
Let's hit it.
So,
alrighty, Curry Barker is wasting no time after Obsession, and his next horror project sounds completely different from anything he's done before. Anything But Ghosts follows two fake paranormal investigators who make a living scamming vulnerable people until they encounter something terrifyingly real. Co-written and starring Barker alongside Cooper Tomlinson, the film appears to blend grounded horror with dark comedy in a way that feels heavily inspired by their chaotic online chemistry. But underneath the humor is a genuinely creepy setup. A world where ghosts supposedly don't exist until one finally does. With names like Aaron Paul and Bryce Dallas Howard attached, the project is quickly becoming one of the most talked about titles on the horror horizon. So the big question, could Anything But Ghosts be the movie that pushes Curry Barker into horror icon status? Or is this risky horror comedy mix too unconventional to fully land? What do you fellas thinking about this one?
Go ahead, Adrian.
When you say Aaron Paul, are you talking about the Aaron Paul?
Bitch.
Yes, sir, bitch.
Oh, dude. I like that he's doing more. At least he's doing more things that I'm hearing his name attached to. I heard that he's going to be joining the next Fallout season.
He was in Ash.
I was just about to say, I'm like, he was just in Ash, which was pretty good. So that's one you should watch that for sure, Adrian. That's very big Dead Space vibes. So,
ooh, I'm down.
Yeah, that's
looking at his discography now.
Yeah, I feel like he just went from, he had that moment after Breaking Bad where it's like he did Need for Speed, and then I think he kind of saw that, like, you know, after that kind of flopped, I'm pretty sure, or didn't do as well as he had hoped. It wasn't the Fast and the Furious, like, you know, Terminator Destroyer that they wanted it to be. I think that, like, he kind of started maybe intentionally taking smaller, more interesting roles, because it seems like he did a lot on TV with more like limited series, because he was on Black Mirror for at least a couple of those. He worked with Flying Lotus. He's done a couple of small like cameos and a lot of things, working with interesting people, but hopefully there's more of a role here for him. I'd love to see him like come back and do some bigger meatier roles.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited to see what Aaron Paul does. I've been a huge fan of him since Breaking Bad. It's one of the best TV series out there, I think, you know. So I'm excited to see him. I was excited to see him in Ash, you know, actually get a starring role in that rather than just being a side character, because I hate when we see these actors that we love kind of just being reduced to these side characters, not really getting any sort of arc. So I love seeing him in Ash, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do here. I do feel like Curry Barker is going to use him to the fullest extent. You know, him already being named as the cast, and what we know, Cooper Tomlinson and Curry Barker are going to be the ghost hunters. So we already know what those roles are going to be. But I feel like Aaron Paul is going to be one of the other main players in this, as well as Bryce Dallas Howard. But I'm excited to see how they're all going to play. I've watched some of Curry Barker's more comedic skits since seeing Obsession, and the guy's got a great sense of humor, so I'm excited to see how he's going to mix horror and comedy, which, you know, I've talked about it, is not my forte, but I think the way that he is able to understand how the human mind works, you know, he can make people laugh, so it translates into making people scared. So I'm excited to see how he's going to find that marriage between both of them, because I think his comedic skits are really funny. Obviously, Obsession is scary. I think Milk and Cereal is really well done, especially some of his shorts as well. So, you know, I think just the flavor he has in both horror and comedy, to see these two come together like that is going to be really exciting.
Oh yeah, I like it. I did want to highlight this because yes, You guys have been showing a lot of love to the top 10 lists, and although this video is not going to be necessarily a top 10 list, Luke and I narrowed down how we're going to be celebrating the lead up to the back rooms coming up here, and I'm real excited about that video. I think it's going to be really fun, so definitely keep your eye out for that. It's going to be something a little different. We've been doing a little bit of experimenting, obviously, with having the reactions with Adrian is one thing we did there. That was a lot of fun. We'll definitely be doing more of that. And then, just kind of messing with some stuff as usual, not just staying stagnant. But I promise we got some heavy hitters, some returning favorites as far as topics and videos coming up, like Luke's got his gems video. And you'll be getting something nasty from me pretty quick here. So keep your eye out.
It's nasty, though.
It's a little visceral. It's a little psychological. It's kind of what everybody likes with the videos that get
cerebral, even.
So, I hope. I think so, at least. There's a little twist in there at the end that I'm excited about, but who knows? I might hate the video by the end. I usually do. So, literally, I think the last video that I didn't like begrudgingly hate, like myself, like I think where it was like I'm just done, like just fork it over, I'm tired of it, is like the Adrian video, and then the last top 10 video we did, where it was like those two were fantastic. I was like, those were fun. I always like the chemistry of those, but then when it's just me myself, I'm just sitting there like, good Lord, let's get through it. Come on, man, let's keep moving. I don't know if you guys get that way when you're editing, but it's like I like the banter. I don't know, but like for me, I'm just like,
I'm that way
I get so tired of like hearing myself talk.
I like to, in between takes of when I'm doing my solo lists, I just like, instead of like talking myself up and hyping myself up, I just talk down to myself and be like, you don't even know what you're talking about. And I just kind of like hit myself a little bit.
Now, the method that I've been using recently is like, I've just been like taking a lot of like our recordings, usually Sunday Scaries, and then I just go through and just kind of like cut individual words out for all of you guys. And then I fed it all to like a bot. And whenever I need a little pick-me-up or something to make me feel a little bit normal, I just hit this little app on my phone, and one of you guys says something, and I just talk to it for a little while.
Ooh, I like that. Well, you can give us a chat anytime you want to. I'm always available.
No, it's
when
good.
I was editing my Resident Evil supercuts, I kind of almost was like listening to myself as a separate entity. It was like I'm me, and then that's like the digital me. And then I would hear myself talking in my sleep.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'd have these dreams to just be editing. Isn't
that always fun? It's like you're talking to yourself. You're just stuck in a room by yourself. Turn off all the lights except for the glowing screen, and then just have a conversation with yourself. It's cathartic.
Does your digital self ever say something and then you just like mock it, and then it becomes like a catchphrase for an hour?
I've done that. Yeah.
He starts flirting with me. I'm like, easy, buddy.
I get a little vocal kick. What up, Gannon?
Man's got a mirror, some Vaseline in a tissue box.
I have a feeling you'd enjoy that one.
Stephanie's
always down for the reaction videos, so I had a feeling that would be a good one. And I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I thought that was a lot of fun. And there was just so much stuff. I even got to put that little extra video out on Patreon. So there will be a little bit more of those too. So the next one I'm working on, I just got to sync up with my victim, and then we got to make that happen. So I already got everything figured out. And then Adrian, you'll be back in the saddle again, as they say.
Mm-hmm. We're thinking about moving on to some Silent Hill 2 remake.
Okay, hell yeah! So that's gonna be potentially the next stream game. So if you guys are excited for that, I know you guys have talked a lot about Silent Hill on the channel. At least teased it a great bit. So
I feel like it's meant to be.
Absolutely. But I do want to just say, I know there's not a lot here for this. I just want to get back to the actual like story itself, because I feel like I barely said anything about it. I love this. This to me feels like What We Do in the Shadows. Kind of like when I discovered that movie after I think seeing Taika Waititi do like Thor and Jojo Rabbit, I think, and then going back to that, or one of those. It was around that time, and it just feels like a weird concept for a movie that's going to be kind of mockumentary-esque, I guess, is kind of like what they're pitching it as. And I just get so excited for that stuff when it comes from people like this who are willing to kind of not just be creative, but really like genuinely unsettling and creepy and weird creative. So it's like things are going to get really strange. And the idea of them pulling fast ones on people until they find something horrific. Like at first, by that title, I'm thinking, oh, so it's literally going to be like a haunted house type deal. Now I'm thinking, oh, what if they like found like, say, the Book of the Dead or a version of that? It's like, oh, what the hell is going to happen now? It's like, that's exciting to me. So I'm looking forward to this.
This one, I'm excited to see Curry Barker do anything, and I'm certainly excited for this, but I'm also very nervous. Adrian, I just want to ask you a quick question. Other than like us talking about Obsession and Curry Barker on Sunday Scaries when you're with us, did you hear that much about Obsession or anything like that prior to that, or is it more so since it's released you're hearing a little bit more of word of mouth and how good it is?
Yeah, more so just since the release. Like I'm just scrolling Reddit and everybody in like the horror movie like subreddits and stuff are talking about it. I mean, I think I saw a trailer. I think I was hearing Dylan talk about it coming up or something at some point, but that was the most I probably heard about it. No original marketing until afterwards, I feel like.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious because Dylan mentioned his video wasn't doing that great, and I think Dylan and I had talked about it where it's like I think maybe it's going to be word of mouth with this movie where it's like certainly the horror space has been looking forward to Obsession, but like a general audience that is just relying on marketing things like that instead of really listening to the pulse of what's coming out in horror is like are they unaware of it until just right now when like it's really picking up a lot of traction. So it's like I think the Obsession discussion and Curry Barker discussion is probably going to start widening here in the next few weeks when people start seeing it. And obviously it's already got a glowing review after its first weekend. But my intrigue here is that Obsession obviously is so well done from its horror perspective and the way that he's able to just present that into such a unique way. And I think when someone says, hey, you like Obsession, I think the next recommendation is going to be Milk and Cereal, and it's like go check out Milk and Cereal because it has a similar vibe. It is really disturbing to an extent, but you also get to see Curry Barker put on an intriguing performance, and it subverts your expectation. So it's like basing it off those two, and if you don't go into any of his comedy bits or anything like that, do you think it's gonna build up this almost unreal expectation for anything but ghosts and be like, oh man, I've seen Obsession, it terrified me, and then we go into this more horror comedy that it's like this isn't necessarily what I was looking for. I think, like I said, I like his comedy and I think it works really well, so I'm excited to see how this is going to go. But I think this one being built from the ground up with Blumhouse producing this one and being involved right from the get-go rather than Obsession being picked up, that is this gonna run into any hurdles, you think, instead of just Curry Barker's voice from Obsession and what we're using that as kind of almost this bar of what we're going to be setting? Is this going to be something where it's an unreal expectation, like this isn't Obsession, it's not supposed to be? But
that's a good point. I didn't consider that, but yeah, it's like it is going to be a slightly different flavor than I think people were anticipating. Because I mean, Obsession for me was a slightly different flavor. I know Milk and Cereal gets dark, but like Obsession got really dark too, and it was just kind of like I don't know. I didn't expect that, so I anticipate this will get pretty dark. I think as long as he does that, and if it is a little bit more like humor heavy towards the earlier half of the film, I could see it working. But yeah, I mean, like it's going to be a bit of an adjustment, I think. But if Obsession does anything, hopefully it will get more people to check out some of their other stuff, and people who are already fans of them will start to realize that these are the same people. And I think that will hopefully, bode well for them by the time this movie comes out. So
I'm certainly excited to see what they're going to do. I think there's so much discussion around Curry Barker right now and just his voice in general that I'm excited to see, where this is going to go. This Elm Street thing, we talked about our video that Dylan and I did about Curry Barker, in line for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is already intriguing. We threw around some ideas in that video of maybe what he could do to bring a unique voice to that. But I know, there's some news coming out saying he'd love to tackle Nightmare on Elm Street. And that would be really intriguing in terms of the relationships of characters and bringing a modern voice, because we talked about how Obsession really does feel uniquely modern. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like he really does have a handle on modern characters and how to really make them feel authentic. So I think that could be interesting if you ever tackle Nightmare on Elm Street, because usually it's more of an ensemble cast because you have to have those kills and things, and it's teenagers. And I think he could really bring an authentic voice to that. I know there's kind of a lot of people want to throw their hat in there and try to get their hands on Nightmare on Elm Street, but Curry Barker could be an interesting choice.
That's weird. I'm sorry about that, Kim. Let me take a gander on YouTube here, because I just set it to balanced. I always set it to balance when it's through StreamYard, and we've never had this issue. But I hear you. I mean, like, I think it's a super exciting time to be a fan of his content. It's a super exciting time to be a fan of just independent horror, because hopefully this does give it another nice notch on the belt there. I'm just really excited to see, you know, what's going to come after the films that he's even announced, because like I wonder how ambitious they are as a duo, as a team, as far as their creativity. I wonder where this is going to go, because like I don't just want to have these people come out like our all these original names and everybody's been coming out with like weapons, things like that, like going to huge franchises and properties. Like, yes, I want them to if they really want to and they have a plan, but like I don't just want Curry Barker to sit in franchise like Lockdown for 10 years. Like I want him to make more original stuff too, because like Obsession was super cool and it was a really fun idea, and I hope they have more of those. So that's really where I'm sitting with it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think, you know, more original properties, the better. But I am excited. You know, we're both in agreement of what he could do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because I think his approach is going to be a more unique avenue. He's not interested in retelling something or retreading any sort of story beats. He has made it a point that, you know, I maybe want to tackle the Sawyer family. There's a lot of interesting dynamics that he feels that have been unexplored. So I think what we could see with Texas Chainsaw Massacre could be a completely different final product than we've seen in past time. You know, I think we lean more negative on the sequels, some of the reboots, things like that. But there are some good stories in there as well. But I think, you know, Curry Barker could really approach this from a completely different avenue, one we're not even thinking of, because like I said, Obsession on paper works to a certain extent, but when you actually see it acted out, when you see it on screen, the stakes are completely different in terms of it's not just a line. It really does change the dynamic of everything. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to bring to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in terms of changing dynamics. So it's like, it would be an interesting landscape to see someone like Curry Barker tackle some of these franchise horror films, because he could go in there and I don't think he's interested in retelling what we've seen in the past. It's more so, let me flip this thing on its head and give it a completely different voice than what we're used to. So it's like, even though it would be franchise horror, I think he would still make it feel unique, you know. But I am all for him, you know, expanding upon some of the stories he already does have. If people haven't checked out some of his shorts, definitely do that. The Chair for me was really unsettling. I think he's got a lot of great shorts on there that run about 20 to 25 minutes, and they're all really well done.
Is it Warning that everybody's saying has a lot of the influence? I felt that when I was watching it, but I think I got so caught up in everything, I was like, yeah, it's good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next year, but I also am looking forward to seeing what Sir Sam Raimi has cooking up for us next. Luke, do we want to hop into the next story?
Absolutely. Let's hop into it. Sam Raimi is officially stepping back into horror, and his next project could revive one of the most unsettling cult classics of the 1970s. Raimi is now set to direct a reimagining of Magic, the eerie psychological horror story centered around a ventriloquist and his terrifying dummy Fats. The original film became infamous for its disturbing atmosphere and the deeply unhinged performance from Anthony Hopkins, making it a strange but fascinating choice for a modern reboot. Even more interesting, Raimi is reteaming with his Send Help cohorts, Shannon and Swift, who will pen the script. With killer doll horror making a comeback in recent years, The timing for a darker, more grounded return to magic feels surprisingly perfect. Can Sam Raimi reinvent magic for a new generation, or is the original film too psychologically unique to ever truly recreate?
Bring it on. It reminds me of Slappy the Dummy from Goosebumps, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, you'll get some of that. This was a movie, again, we covered this maybe one of the first runs of Sunday Scaries. I want to say it was like within the first 6 months, I think was when this was. And I was down for it. I watched the movie after that and I became a fan. I enjoy it. I think it's really solid. It was definitely one that after that, I think we were going to do a podcast episode eventually on it. But again, everything took a different turn. So we'll get around to it eventually in more discussion. I think now more recently than ever. Have you put it on a list yet?
I have not put it on the list. I wasn't sure if you had actually. So.
I had not, because I told myself there's usually my word of my, I try to live by this. Like if Luke introduces me to something and he pitches it as like something very like, very special, akin to something that he's like, this is very special to him, it's kind of niche. I try to wait till you cover it before I mention anything, unless it just is too perfect of an opportunity. And like, so this is probably where that one's been sitting. Cause yeah, there's been a couple where it's like, this is a great, fantastic Anthony Hopkins performance. I mean, this is just really creepy stuff. And seeing Sam Raimi tackle this with God knows who he's going to cast, probably going to be at this point Dylan O'Brien, and in there, I don't know. I would like to see him do somebody a little older, maybe like an older actor. Obviously, everybody's going to want Bruce Campbell, but hell, I'll take whatever. Just make it happen, because yeah, this is just the right kind of creepy, disturbing that I think Raimi would absolutely excel at.
100%. I think it's going to come down to that casting, because when you look at the original Magic, I mean, man, Anthony Hopkins puts on a fantastic performance. It's one of the most memorable ones. I mean, obviously, Hannibal Lecter is always going to be the main star when we talk about Anthony Hopkins, but Magic is such a great film. From the psychological element, you really do lose yourself. I mean, Burgess Meredith is in this as well. I mean, it's like such a great time capsule film. I'll go back to this one at least once a year just to live in that space. I love the story around it and how deeply psychological we get, because it is so easy to do a killer doll film, but the way that they approach this one, again, feels unique to anything we see from like Megan, Child's Play, anything like that. This really does lay a solid foundation for that unnerving element that we do get here. And I just love the take on it. We don't get it that often. So I'm curious to see what Shannon and Swift are going to do in terms of bringing this into the modern era. I don't want this to just kind of be, cheap jump scares, anything like that. They really do have to, I think, zero in on the psychological aspect of it, because that's what the story is. So I don't want this to kind of have the approach of your typical killer doll film. I don't like that. So it's like I really want to do something really deeply psychological and just do something different, something that warrants a remake like this.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh, it's all about me. No, I hear you. I get what you're saying. I absolutely agree. I think that Shannon and Swift, although I can say not all of their movies have been perfect, if they do a little bit more and play it into like, I guess, play into a little bit more serious than Send Help, but still have some of that levity to it, I think they can find a balance. I think they would do a really good job with this. Is there somebody that you would have liked? Would you say, I don't know, would you have wanted to maybe see Raimi pen this himself? Or were you thinking, is there another voice that was in your head when you first thought about a Magic remake? I'm just curious.
I think, if I was going to have Raimi directing, I would also like to see his approach as well.
His writing.
Yeah. I think he's got a great handle on, if we're going to do any sort of comedic route, he can put those dark undertones into the horror film itself. So I would love to see his take on it. Based on like something like Send Help, I wouldn't have been like Shannon Swift or the team to handle this. So that did surprise me a little bit, that they were going to be coming into Magic with Sam Raimi. It's like, it makes sense because they just worked on that last film, but they were not going to be the team that I would say, okay, these guys easily need to to pen the remake for Magic. But I'm curious to see how this team's going to work. I love Send Help. I think it was a really well done horror film, and it does have those comedic elements. I don't want this to have an overabundance of comedy. I don't think that the original concept warrants that. So I'm hoping they go a little bit lighter on that and really dive deep into the psychological. But I'm not writing it off. I think it could be really interesting. It just these were not the writers that I would have said definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those ones for me too. Where it's like I at first I liked the idea just because I do like Shannon and Swift a lot. I really like their remake of Friday the 13th. Obviously, I have a big nostalgia boost for that. So, for me, they've been people that I've liked seeing some of their movies. Some of them I think are really good. Send Help is one I think that is exceptional for them. But I am with Luke a little bit where it's like I wonder if because like I just also rewatched Drag Me to Hell this last couple weeks with this last list. So it's one of those where it's like rewatching that again and seeing what him and his brother Ivan Raimi, just wrote themselves with that. It's like I could see them having a better handle on kind of maybe making it feel a bit more like closer to its 70s counterpart in, I guess, the balance of humor rather than just, maybe like you said, trying to modernize it too much. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. Like, I do want to touch on this too, real quick. I know this is jumping out of this, but I do agree with you, Gannon. I absolutely think that the performances, like, we can't dive into it too much because obviously it's spoiler stuff. But like, I think the performances are exceptional for that. I think she's the brightest star coming out of that movie for sure. And then I do like what Austin said here. About Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, giving us some love there. I agree. I do like both of these. I think Toni Collette would be a very interesting.
That would be fantastic. That is a great. Yeah. That is a great recommendation. That would be. I would love for them to switch.
I believe the darkness from her.
Yeah,
because when the movie when Magic gets really dark is like what that I feel like I could see that coming from her more than I could like Dylan O'Brien. No hate to him, I love him, but it's like, and not to say that he's just the most recent big name actor. Usually it's how it goes, but like I do like that a lot more, or at least somebody of her caliber. That's what I was saying. Like if we did like an older actor or actress, that'd be great. I'd love somebody who's like a little bit more seasoned, I think. Because I think that would be really cool to watch them play with this role and get really into it, get really psychological with it.
Yeah, especially adding different texture to whatever that character is going to be. I love the idea of kind of, gender swapping from the original and going the female route. And Toni Collette, now that's going to be stuck in my brain. So if we, if we don't get that, I think that's good. It's going to be slightly disappointing because, she's certainly got the chops. I mean, everyone here knows that, we can always point to something like Hereditary. That is like, my gosh, there's so much there to chew on. So it's like to just have her play in terms of how deeply psychological we could get and dark we can get with a script like Magic would be a lot of fun. It would be really terrifying. So honestly, that's going to be stuck in my head. I would have loved to see Raimi tackle it from his perspective and kind of just write it. But I think Toni Collette, man, that's top-notch casting right there.
I think De Niro's a little too old now for this character.
Yeah.
They'd have to kind of rewrite him a bit, I think, to really fit into that. But I think like it's not a bad idea. I think if I was going to go that, because like, could you imagine like Cape Fear era, De Niro as the Anthony Hopkins role? Like he'd do a damn good job. I think he would really get into that. And it's just like, I don't know, but like, yeah, in his prime, I think he could have crushed this. I think like Dustin Hoffman could have been a good one as well in his prime. I just watched All the President's Men for the first time a couple weeks ago. So he's been on my mind a little bit. So there's a lot of good people I'd love to see work with Sam Raimi.
Anthony Hopkins.
Fuck it. If we're going to go old. Kim coming in with the best. Always the winner here, Willem Dafoe. Put him in anything. I don't care. I will watch it.
I think that'd be fantastic as well.
He would do a great job. He would, especially with the ventriloquist with those fucking eyes, dude. The Green Goblin eyes he can just throw on. I think the last like little thing I'll throw at this, then we can move on to the next story if you want. I I want to throw. Oh my God, why is his name escaping me? He's got a movie coming out with Martin McDonagh. He's done like 50 of them with him.
Sam Rockwell.
Yes. Sam Rockwell in working with Raimi on this.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
He's somebody I think would.
Has he done horror, like straight horror films? Like
Poltergeist was terrible.
Yeah. I know I watched that. I know I watched Poltergeist, but I don't remember it at all.
No, it's such a redundant movie. Like especially because like they don't do a whole lot different. I'm looking through his movies right now. I mean, not really.
Yeah, I mean, like he could really bring a different dynamic to it. Again, he's got a great handle on comedy.
Moon is like sci-fi. Have you seen Moon?
I have not.
It is like sci-fi. There's a little bit of horror in there.
I don't like anything with space.
I would say G-Force is pretty terrifying. The guinea pig movie from 2009. That one I would put in there. So yeah.
I'm not what do they call them? Rodentia? I'm not
what an idiot. What a dum-dum I am. Somebody tell me if they've done this already in the chat. But has anybody mentioned that he was in the infamous movie Clown House?
I haven't seen Clown House. Is that good? Is it a top-notch film?
Oh boy, howdy, he's in that. And you know why this movie's famous? Little guy named Victor Salva directed that one. And if you know anything about Victor Salva, there was a movie where he took advantage of a little boy on there. And well, if you can put two and two together, it's that movie. Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, it's really fucked up. So yeah, but yes, he was in that. Mm-hmm. I'll never watch Clown House again. Yep, see, Rob gets it. He knows what I'm talking about. It's some dark shit. So that's actually, yes, I would love to see her, especially after day one, doing a little bit of horror in there. I want to see her do some more stuff. I mean, she was in obviously Us. Has she done any more horror besides those two?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, because yeah, it's like I think she does a great job. So it's like she's definitely one of those actresses I'm excited to see her step more into horror. Because like again, her performance in Us was super unhinged, and plus she's playing the dual role there. And like to see that, I'd love to see her like give another performance of that caliber, where it's like she's just really going crazy with it. Little Monsters.
I love Little Monsters.
What about it? Was that the one?
Doesn't it have Lupita Nyong'o in it? We're not talking about the Howie Mandel one.
I'm talking about that. That's where my confusion was. Little Monster.
Lupita Nyong'o as a Deadite would be fire.
Oh, that's actually a great idea. Oh, from 2019? Little Monsters. Oh, on who? I remember when this came out with Josh Gad. I didn't watch it. I thought it was Cooties. I got that.
Oh, there we go.
I'm confused, but
no, Cooties, another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Elijah Wood, Rainn Wilson. Come on.
I feel like we need a genuinely terrifying tornado movie at some point. If anything, like the actual Joplin F5 tornado. Holy crap, man! Holy freaking crap! Hey, Twister exists.
We need another genuinely terrifying tornado movie.
There was this made for TV. I think it was maybe on ABC when I was a kid. It was like Night of the Tornadoes or something like that, and it was just like a night where this city just got ran through by one tornado after another tornado. It was absolutely terrifying.
Just getting absolutely bodied by tornadoes.
Yeah. It was like they had this whole scene where it was like nighttime, and then the tornado just appeared right in front of everybody. It freaked me out as a kid. Anyway, I started thinking about it because it was like there was a news story where Justin Long's going to be in like a Killer Bee film apparently.
Yes,
like,
you sent me that.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I remember there was an ABC or it was a made-for-TV film back in like 1995 that was like these killer bees just surrounded this house, this family's house, and they were trying to get inside. So they were like creeping through the windows and stuff like that. And I was like, I just had this moment. I was like, I completely forgot about that film. And then I was preparing for Sunday Scares. And I was like, Oh Jesus, I remember this film and it terrified me as a kid. I was terrified of bees and tornadoes. Mid-90s as a kid, freaked out.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those that I'm like, I know there's one about bats too that came out around that time. I think that one has Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh man.
And I put those together because those two movies, I'm pretty sure, were in a 2-pack together that I would always see at Blockbuster. Whereas Bats, and I think the movie you're talking about is called Swarm.
I have no clue.
I think it's.
I'd have to go look it up.
So that might be what it is. So I'm thinking. But Twisters never freaked me out. It made me want to be a tornado chaser. Yeah, it's a great movie. We don't need to talk about Twisters. The movie's not so great. Who remembers that? That came out 2 years ago. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Now, the movie I'm talking about it's called B Movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
That's not right. You're lying.
I'm kidding.
I watch that movie all the time. That movie's not scary. Batnado. Hell yeah. Let's go. I know y'all are talking about Sharknado in here now. That movie, I have given the first one the attention and time it deserved, and then nothing.
You know what we need?
I haven't seen the others. What?
We need Piranhado.
Piranhado? I'm sure that exists. That's too good of a title. Adrian, get to it. Copyright it for 25 cents. Write it, and then I'll look up the email for what's that? Asylum Pictures.
Nobody's done a Piranha Tornado movie yet, so it's time.
Rob might have you up there with Hipponado.
Hipponado or nothing. That would be even scarier because a flying hippo would probably take out like an entire wall in a building.
Listen, guys. So there's 34 of us in here right now. We have on our reach roughly 65,000 people subscribe to this channel. We know enough people with over 100K, and so what we need to do is we need to get a petition signed after Hungary has some success to make Hipponado a thing, okay? So if everybody tells everybody just in the comment section, just starts typing Hipponado, and we just make it a giant movement, we'll make it happen, okay?
Hear me out. We in the budget, we also get piranhas, and we make both. So just in case one fails, we have the other.
Or we'll shoot the same movie. We'll just do all the hippos and the piranhas in CGI, and we'll dub over, and we'll shoot this in like some other country, and we'll hire all locals. So that way we can just dub over everything, and we'll release it in one country as hippos. We'll release it in the United States as piranhas, or vice versa, whichever one tests better. That way we just have to swap out the piranhas for the hippos, and then the dialogue. We're good.
Or we take this model we've set up and we could CG anything in there, and then we sell the movie to multiple studios, and now we got all kinds of tornadoes.
We'll just copyright every animal with a tornado element, and then we'll just change it in at our leisure.
Gannon got it.
Gannon did it.
Got it.
Safari-nado.
Perfect. All right, let's do it. Safari-nado. It's like I've seen those zombie zoo movies or Zombies as a thing. Like I always thought that title was ridiculous and amazing. Safari-nado is kind of fucking perfect. Like
Safari-nado. Like, could be anything, dude. Snakes, alligators.
The sci-fi original movie, Saturday night movie of Safari-nado it's basically a what it is this, all right? It's a Jurassic Park ripoff with a bunch of like animals on an island for a safari, but they're like super animals, you know? They got like extra animal juice in them.
It's like the Doctor or the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yes, some of them are people too, and they're under the ground. We see them later. But point is, a tornado comes by, but here's the thing. There's also a hurricane. And they combine, and it becomes this super rare hurricane tornado combo. And it's like an F6 hurricane, and that's where we get all the animals start going up in it. But because they're super like souped up animals, like, you know, Jurassic Park style animals, they're like a lot harder to kill. So the tornado doesn't kill them, and they just jump in and out of it. What do you think?
All right, so let's go for it.
All right.
We can combine some elements
Okay.
of Deep Blue Sea in there. Maybe, they start thinking, brain starts going. They become sentient, start talking.
Hey, tell her that the Splattercast crew said that Magic is a great flick. Anthony Hopkins is an Academy Award winner. He's won several, I think. So that deserves at least one sitting watching of Dummy or Magic, with the Dummy movie. She's terrified of him. Okay, so probably actually not a great idea. Don't do that. You're gonna traumatize her.
This one would be sad.
Llama
Tsunami.
Tsunami. I don't want to watch a bunch of llamas die.
Llama Tsunami. Trying to convince my wife to watch. Oh.
Hashtag Piranado versus Hipponado. Let's do it. Oh, you know what? That's right. I just remembered. We can do polls now. So let's do it. You guys
For the next Splattercast short film. All right, so realistically, this could be a 10-minute film. Do they know about your film past, Dylan, with the infamous gatorfish?
Yeah. Oh, no, they probably don't know about gatorfish, but yeah, I don't think we've had a chance to talk about that, or at least I might have brought it up in passing. Most people here probably don't know about it. Maybe one or two people have heard the name.
All I was gonna say is we need that, but a tornado, a hurricane, or a tsunami. Where's the poll at? I want to vote.
I'm working on it. You distracted me. I can't do two things at once.
You start talking about gatorfish. I mean, Dylan cannot divide his attention.
Like Piranado, dude, that would be totally feasible. Hippos, though, that'd be like big on the visual effects. I'm interested, though. I want to do it.
When was the last Sharknado? I think we've been out of this whole tornado meets animals long enough that we've got to dive deep into the subgenre again. I think the audience is ready for it. They're clamoring for tornado meets some sort of random animal.
Boom.
Everybody's back in gatorfish.
Sorry,
Dylan.
There we go. Gatorfish. Yeah, I mean, all right. Maybe we'll do I bet you I could find. Actually, I know I have a copy still somewhere in one of those hard drives from schools that I harvested. So I could probably find it and I could make a fun little video going over it for the chat. I think I could do that. So we could have fun. Maybe make it like a members only thing.
They won't let me vote. That's messed up.
Well, yeah, you're a part of the show, man. You don't get to vote. What are you talking
about? I'll tell them a short story though. So like when I met Dylan, he was we made like a little short like action like movie or whatever, like a little 2.5 minute thing. And then I got like super creatively charged and I was like, we gotta make this a whole series. So we got like a couple episodes in. Meanwhile, Dylan had to go to his family's on like I think it was in Georgia. But he filmed a whole ass short film down there and came up with that and then showed it to me. I'm like, damn, we both locked in this summer. But Dylan it was just so impressive because it's like compared to a 2.5 minute video, that was like, a feature film basically, when we're talking about ratios.
To be fair, the first like real, I think you'd say like short film you made was with me before I left. Like that was the first time we made anything like really like serious. So it was like that was like I guess the motivator. So yeah, the fact that you still kept it going though was great. I loved it because I'd been doing little things with my action figures as like a toddler doing stuff growing up. So it was like one of those things where my parents just have, or my dad probably has like at least a handful of DVDs at the house still somewhere with just like all my old short films. I know I have a bunch of them still too.
Meccano, we can't do both. Everybody's unanimously voting one. It's over, bro. It's Hipponado hour.
Splatter 1 versus 2. Look, if the Hipponado works, then obviously what we'll do is we'll do Piranado next, and it'll take place in an underwater lab, and it'll be water tornadoes. duh. And what we'll do is the third one will be Safari-NATO. You know,
Maybe. But you know what,
trilogy,
man?
dude, trilogy. We shoot it all in a weekend. I got this. After Effects, little bit of like buying some preset effects online. So we got this, bro.
Just give me my piranha scene in the Hippo NATO movie where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, hippos aren't the only animal being swept up right now.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%. We'll have somebody mention it at the
Compromise.
At the start, one of the guys will do it. Just one of the scientists will mention that they've had some like activity going on in some other spot, and then people will theorize online until we announce it that yeah, this is going on. So.
Or in the opening, like some tourist is like, huh, you hear that there's piranhas in these waters? Yeah, right. And then that guy gets torn apart by him an hour and 15 minutes later. Whoa, really?
What?
That's crazy. Dude, it's all coming together. I know everybody wants Hippo NATO, but I see the vision.
Yeah, I got 12 votes.
Will they be super intelligent piranhas designed to cure dementia?
Absolutely. Literally, we got
Deep Blue Sea still lives rent free in my mind, front to back.
We got to get these murder effing hippos in this murder effing. Yeah, that's the movie. We got to get the hippos in the tornado to stop the tornadoes. So now we're changing the plot. We need a bigger budget. It's going to basically be Twister. Cooking. It's going to be Twister, but instead of having the thing on the back of the truck that's like there to, like put the balls in the storm to register the tornado data, it's going to be a hippo. Not just
I'll
any
put my
hippo.
balls in your storm.
It's like you're going in timeout. Anyway, but no, it's like what we're going to do is we're going to bring him back, and then we're going to have the damn hippos eat the tornado. That's how we're going to resolve that.
Quantum hippos. Which movie does the hippos go to Oz?
Shit. Zombie hippos versus Spawn of Mothra. Just a bunch of maggots just fighting hippos.
That would actually be crazy, like World War Z style maggots just crawling all over each other.
We appreciate you, Erica. We appreciate you that you would support our not a scheme, not us ripping anybody off at all. Real serious movie.
Roadrunners were created by the government, just like birds.
And then we could go to absolutely, Jackie. We will get there eventually. Space is on the table, baby. You guys already know the formula. You know how to make $1 million IP. We got this. We don't need the studios anymore.
It's like Iron Man
in the hood.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Which did you want to actually bring that up real quick?
Whoa! No, it was by design.
There it is. Everything's by design. It's like Final Destination.
Hell yeah.
Now, it's not an official story, but I figure we just mentioned a little bit. Markiplier is going to be releasing Iron Lung here on YouTube, I believe, March 31st. I don't have the article right in front of me right now, but that's how it's going to be available. May 31st. It will be available here on YouTube. So it's going to come out directly through, I guess, streaming through there. It's really interesting because he said he wanted to, stick with the YouTube platform. I know at some point he has the plan to release a physical copy as well, which is what I'm really looking forward to. I do want to check this one out again, but it's, again, really interesting. He's really paving a new path, I think, for content creators like this. We talked about Curry Barker and the way Obsession is taking off and what he's able to achieve. But Markiplier had this come out in end of January, I believe, and we didn't really know too much about it. I did a little research on the lore of the video game and stuff like that, and really impressed with what he was able to achieve. So I'm excited to see this being released on YouTube. I do want to check it out again. I really want to own a physical copy, so I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm at odds with myself if I'm going to pick this one up or not, but I'm excited for more people to see this because this was such a limited event that I know a lot of people were eager to check it out that didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, I was going to watch it, and then, it kind of just slipped right by, so this is going to be my time to actually check it out.
Yeah, so it's available on YouTube, like as in for free. That's basically
no. You can purchase it. You know how you can purchase things through YouTube. I don't know what the price tag on that's going to be. I don't know if it says it in the article. I was trying to look right now, but yeah, for purchase. I don't think we have a price tag on this one right now. But yeah, it'll be available through YouTube May 31st. So
Hell yeah. Well, that's great. I'm excited for more people to get to see it. I hope you can still have the same impact, because I feel like the sound design does a lot for that movie.
That's a
and
big
the
question.
Speakers were a big deal. So yeah, make sure when you watch it, Adrian, you got some good headphones or some good sound, your sound bar on or something, because that's going to be key. I feel like that was a huge factor into like helping elevate that movie's experience.
Yo, what is Austin talking about? This directive 80/20. Oh, space helmet. I'm in. But only 50% of people like the game. No, what do we got? Interactive drama, survival horror game.
Yeah, it looks like you talk to people and then they die.
That's what I do in real.
Oh, apparently it's got some Alien Isolation vibes.
Oh, word. Adrian. Finally watched the newest Final Destination. Pretty fun.
Hell yeah. It's a good flick. Is this different than the current YouTube movie rental system? Because I heard he was trying to negotiate a thing with YouTube, but I've rented movies on YouTube before. I think it sounds like it's going to be the same. Like,
I think right now it's going to be the conventional way that we're used to. I'm curious to see if maybe something else is going to roll out too, because I mean, obviously, like Markiplier has been able to do. So I'm curious if he'll change the game in some fashion there. But from what we know right now, it's going to be the conventional way that you just purchase through YouTube. So it doesn't look like there's any change there. Something could come out. I mean, we do have a couple weeks before it's released, so I mean, they could unveil something. But right now, it just seems like it's going to be the way you normally do that.
Yeah, I think it'll be whatever they end up doing. I hope that the biggest thing they can do is like, don't sell the movie on digital for $40, please. Like, don't do that. Like, I think like for this one, like I think $12.99 would be a nice price point. You know, I think that'd be really solid. I think that's nice, because one of the things I thought that he might do, because the movie made so much in theaters, I thought what they might do is he just would release this on his YouTube channel and anybody can watch it, and then, like you said, make money from the physical media. Like, I thought that would have been a cool way to do it, because you still know there would be people who would support it, you know, and buy physical
100%.
media who would want it. So, yep. Oh, will there ever be a Jeepers Creepers remake? The first one's still quite classic. I hope so. They just need to. Somebody needs to get that property and treat it with some love.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, because
hit for a while.
The originals are, I do like the first two. They're so weird to talk about, though, you know, as we talk about Victor Salva and stuff like that. So it's like you never really know how to feel about them. But and then obviously the ones after that just don't have that same quality. So I would really love to see someone grab up that property and treat it with some respect, so that we don't have that kind of, you feel a little icky talking about it or praising those types of films, because The Creeper is a really great horror villain, and it's like to really expand upon that story and where we can go with that kind of story could be a lot of fun. So I really hope we do see something in the future. It has so much lore attached to it that you can go into some interesting stories, interesting time periods if you wanted to, and really tell some really fun stories.
I feel you, Gracie. And that's like kind of the mentality that I was going with too, with that is like, I feel like whether because like you're somebody who, like, whether you like the movie or not, you still appreciate, you know, the fact that it was a creator who made it, funded it, got it in movies, theaters themselves. Like, there's a lot more going into it when you buy that than just a movie you thought was all right. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel you 100% on that. There's definitely movies I own. Like, for instance, I own Creepshow 3 on Blu-ray. Why? It's sealed. I've never opened it. I probably will never watch it, but I'm a completionist. So it's like, hey, I had an opportunity to get it. I got it. So,
and like for me, I remember picking up Summer of '84. Hadn't watched it, just knew the concept of it, and tracked it down at my local Walmart. Well, not my local. I actually had to drive about 30 minutes to go pick it up, but I was excited to own it because it's kind of that independent DIY vibe to it. So it's like, I want to own this. It could be terrible, but at least I supported, in some fashion, and I have this Blu-ray that not a lot of people have in their collection. So it's like Iron Lung, I feel the same way, where like Markiplier's talked about, he's going to have his own Blu-ray DVD machine where he's like doing the copies in his own home and that feels like, a piece of horror history in a sense, where it's like you get to own that. It's from the filmmaker and you get to put that in your collection. I feel like that's, I don't know, a little more personal than just buying it on YouTube. It's like I'm at odds with myself because I do want to see it again, but I really want to have that physical copy.
Yeah, there's just a couple projects like that. Again, it's kind of like, I think it's the same thing with people who still collect physical games. Like, I think like when, at least for a while, like when the Switch first came out, like that was like the only console that kind of made sense to do physical still, because like you had the game cards. It felt like back in the day when we had like DS and, Game Boy and Game Boy SP and all that. So it's like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like you have to, almost like I said a couple of months ago on here, I think was just like, it's got to be boutique. It's got to have a reason at this point for me to justify spending as much as I do on a Blu-ray at this point. Like, I'll wait till like a company like Umbrella does something like we were just talking about. We didn't really get to bring this up, and I don't want to have to get into it all now, but like Umbrella's doing the Hatchet release. They showed off some of that and it looks glorious. And we have the Steelbook, but like the Hatchet, like complete series, like, dude, I mean, it's coming with the comics. It's coming with a VHS copy of the first movie. Like, it is truly one of the nicest physical releases I've seen in a minute.
Yeah, and I mean, Hatchet, I just have so much respect for that franchise. Adam Green in general played a really big part in me finding a lot of smaller horror films. That was kind of a turning point for me. So I always have a love for the original Hatchet. I love the sequel as well. So it's like to see that film. I was pumped that we got that Steelbook that we own, but it's like to see this kind of release where we are getting that VHS. To see Hatchet on VHS with that grainy quality would be phenomenal, because it's like one of those films that you would love to see in that aspect, because I uncovered that film with The Burning and Sleepaway Camp. So it's like those two films have VHS releases. They feel that time period, but Hatchet feels like a kindred spirit to that. So it's like, I love that we're getting that really respectable kind of release where we're getting a bunch of different things that go along with it. And it's not just a Blu-ray that's got special cover art or anything like that. So it's like, I love that they're kind of rolling out the red carpet for that release, because I think Hatchet does deserve that respect. See, I mean, it looks beautiful.
This company, I promise, Kim, is the best version of Umbrella. That's the best, though. I love that comment. But yeah, dude, I mean, this is some serious shiznit as far as just like this collection goes. And like, as somebody who has the Art Attack collection or whatever that is, they call it, is it the Art Attack?
Yeah.
Just absolutely phenomenal. And this just looks like it's about the same with all the individual copies, the VHS. The thing that blows my mind here, though, is the graphic novel series, plus the book production journals, because I remember Adam Green telling us in the interview about how he kept a bunch of stuff written down and video recorded and recorded and stuff that they wanted to release at some point. So it's so cool to see this finally getting a home. I mean, again, disposable income is not something that I'm rolling in right now, but like 100, I gotta find that eventually before August, maybe, because like this looks like such a great like definitive edition. Like, as much as I love the Steelbook, I would totally like sell that in place to get this. And I don't even really like Victor Crowley that much, so it's like I'm buying a set here with a movie that I already know I'm not a fan of, but those first two alone are just worth everything to me.
Yep, I'm right there with you. It's like those first two are. I haven't even seen Victor Crowley, so it's like I've heard it wasn't great, but just to own something like this release that has so many different things going for it, where it's like,
Hell,
I remember when the first one came out and it was just talk on the message boards, and it was like, the sequel was going to be coming out. No one had seen it yet, but there was so much praise for the original Hatchet, and now we're here in 2026, and it's getting a release like this is just absolutely insane. Those 4K, the VHS. I mean, man, it's fantastic. It's a franchise that I don't feel it gets enough love. I think we're going to touch on it here soon when we do a duel list together. It's going to be one of the picks on there just because, man, this was an interesting release for its time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that because it's a franchise that I'm excited to see. Hopefully, another installment come. I know we asked Adam. He says it in every interview since. He said a version of the same answer of like, yep, they want to do it. They're just working on the rights, getting things tied up, getting things done, and then we'll get it eventually. So, and I got to ask Austin, as somebody who did that, did you wind up watching a lot of 80s horror? They always had the best posters. So that's why I'm wondering. Like all the 80s horror posters were like, that's a piece of art. I want that. And became available, and they sent me an email saying order was canceled. I got refunded. 2 months later, a package showed up with an art tag. That's amazing. I think that's such a come up right there. I know that Luke's had that happen to him a couple times. I've had that happen at least once, but nothing with anything that crazy. I almost feel like what happened was like, because Umbrella does strike me as the kind of company that like, because they canceled it, you were probably like in a select group of people, and they probably sold so many of those Art Attack packs. And then when they get the ones that they're like, yeah, these are going to be our backups in case there's damage or anything, they probably just lumped you guys in with damaged product or anything. So it's like that's probably why you got sent one. They probably just sent them all out. I would totally see that being a thing, and like that's super cool that they did that. Oh yes, yep, that's what I thought. All the gang ones, all the good ones, love it.
Shopping mall, fantastic.
Oh yeah, oh yes sir. Well, do we want to I guess touch on, this would probably be the last story then, wouldn't it? Well, we do have one more after that, but
depending on how long
being the last takes. Yeah, the last big one, I guess we'd say. So why don't we take it away with a little bit of that Camp Crystal Lake news?
Absolutely. Well, after more than a decade of silence, Crystal Lake is finally bringing their Friday the 13th franchise back this Halloween season. The upcoming Peacock series is slated to bring Mrs. Voorhees' baby boy back on October 15th and promises to explore the origins of Jason long before he became one of horror's most iconic killers. Linda Cardellini, gosh, I always mess up her name. Cardellini steps into the role of Pamela Voorhees, with the story focusing on the tragedy and psychological collapse that shaped the legend of Crystal Lake. With Brad Caleb Kane leading the project and A24 involved behind the scenes, Friday fans got their first look at what a young Jason will look like, at least from the backside. Already sparking a discussion with, will Crystal Lake successfully reinvent Friday the 13th for a new generation, or should some legends stay buried at the bottom of the lake?
Well, I don't know why you'd say that. Of course we want it to come back. What's up with that? No, I hear you. I think this is getting more exciting. The closer we get to this, the more it's becoming a reality. I know a trailer is on the horizon, and it doesn't feel real yet. It does not feel real yet that we're getting an actual, not a fucking stupid 13-minute short film. We're getting an actual Friday the 13th property. Like, that just, I guess I still am a little bit like, my excitement for this has only just recently started to build even more, because like, again, it doesn't feel real. You know, I feel like, haven't we been talking about this show for like the better part of 2 years anyway? Like how it's like it was going on, and then there was a whole stick up and everything. It's like, it's not good. So
yeah, and no, it feels like something's going to go wrong, you know, because we had gotten the announcement of Crystal Lake, and then it was kind of like, okay, it's in production, things are going on, and then, you know, they wiped the slate clean and we're starting over, and it's taken this long to get this far with it. And yeah, we haven't seen a trailer yet, and it feels like we've been talking about this for such a long time. So it continuously feels like, yeah, they're working on it, but we're probably never going to see it. It's probably just going to be stashed away as like something that never actually happened and was talked about for so long. So I always still feel like something's going to go wrong, but now we're kind of, getting some pictures. We know something tangible is going to be produced, but I don't think I can shake that hesitation until, we're seeing the promos airing on Peacock that it's like, hey, we're this many weeks away from Crystal Lake and we're going to see Jason Voorhees in some fashion because, like we said, we haven't seen him in such a long time, like a proper Friday the 13th release. We've had the fan films. We had the Angry Orchard thing, and it was like, so I remember everyone got so hyped up about that. And I remember watching like, okay, I understand it, but, wasn't necessarily what I wanted, out of what our Jason return. So this still feels like something's going to go wrong, and I'm not going to be sold on it until we're seeing those promos. But I'm really excited that we're getting these images. Hoping we do get a trailer soon because, hey, I'm ready to go to Crystal Lake and see Jason start slashing some people.
Yeah, and I mean, we got the official release date also too. So
yeah.
I mean, that's huge. To be real, like, when's the last time that we had like a release date like picked up for a Friday the 13th anything other than the video game? That would probably be the last thing, and that was what, 2017? Like, good Lord, that was forever ago. I remember we were at the gym talking about that, trying to figure out how we were going to stream it. Like, it was wild. And like, yeah, that's how things have changed and shifted. And in a lot of ways, not much has changed other than, the continuation of this limbo. But it is going to be very interesting to see how this series shakes out. I think it has an opportunity here to be the reinvigoration that I think a lot of us are kind of hoping. And I know many of us were hoping they would kind of basically almost soft reboot the franchise by doing season by season, kind of giving us hints and shades of, each of those first 4 films, and then just kind of like taking different twists at it, doing different things to kind of subvert us. And I think if you have a lot of fun with that, it's a really nice way to, I think, give Friday fans just something they've been missing for so long. And the fact that they're still having the balls to go back and even hopefully, and I'm still praying that this is only a 1-season thing with Pamela Voorhees, at least you can maybe push 2 seasons, but this has got to go beyond Pamela, right? Like, we're still on board with that, right?
Well, yeah, I would guess so. I feel like that's where they're going to go. And I've been, ever since we had gotten that October 15th release, I've been, scrolling and seeing different articles pop up. So I don't know if any of this is 100% confirmed. I could just be spreading rumors, hopefully not. But, I did see a thing that said this is going to be set like 9 months after Jason's drowning. So that's where we're going to pick up. I don't know where the story is going to go from there, because then also I had also seen something reported that there's an actor named Zachary Branch that's rumored to be playing 25-year-old Jason. So that would put him around his appearance Friday the 13th part 2. So
yeah.
We could be seeing time jumps. This could start off 9 months after the drowning. Maybe we do a time jump. We cut back and forth from different things. I don't know what that story is going to look like, but it feels like we're going to be getting some sort of adult Jason in some fashion.
Yeah, I'm just so curious to see really how this is all going to go, because again, this is just like how I'm a little bit like, I need to see the trailer. I need to actually see it, that it's happening before I think I can really let my full excitement take over. I'm also just still, I think, going to be nervous because I don't know. I really don't want this to be a 1-season thing. And then whether it's rights issues, whether it's A24 and Peacock not playing, whatever it is, I just don't want this to be like really decent. Like, at least it has to be either amazing and a great 1-season piece of television that goes down in history, kind of like the first season of True Detective in a way, where it almost stands alone, or it's going to be like, the start of what I hope is a fantastic, run for Friday the 13th here. Makes us really rethink the whole, hey, we need the movies too going along with this. Because if this show really does hit and give fans what we're hoping for and really give us a nice, deeper look into just Pamela Voorhees, her psychology, but really does show us that, yes, we are going to give you guys Jason in the hockey mask. Let us do a couple seasons to get there. Then I'm ready for it. I think it's really, I would be selfish as a Friday the 13th fan if I said, no, I'll pass on this right now. Cause like, this is what, as sad as it is to say, it's like, what else am I going to get right now? You know what I mean? Like, what else is going to be there for nothing? So I gotta hope and pray this works.
Do you think this is going to be fighting an uphill battle? I know in our personal experience, it seems like Friday the 13th content does not necessarily do well. And I remember I did that list of 5 ideas that, Friday the 13th never, came to realization, that were floated around, but we never really seen. And that list did not perform in any sense. And I think we've kind of figured out Friday the 13th content, the audience wise, it's a harder sell than what we thought it was going to be. And I'm curious if that bleeds over to something like Jason being this horror icon. Have we kind of softened on him? Not from the horror space, but from a general audience perspective, because we haven't had that much in terms of properties come out, honestly, since 2009. And we had the video game, things like that, but we haven't had this onslaught. I mean, when you go to Spirit Halloween, you see the hockey masks, you see things like that, you see Camp Crystal Lake merchandise, but in terms of properties that we see in terms of being released, and I fell into seeing these on cable, and that doesn't necessarily exist anymore, where it's like, are people seeking these out? Is a younger audience seeking out Jason Voorhees, or are they seeking out Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger? It's like, is this going to be a harder sell for people? Is a younger audience going to show up for this?
It is a concern, I think, because as a hardcore fan, like I'm into it. I'm down with this concept. But it's like the one season, are people going to show up big when they do this first like episode, or I don't know if they do double episode releases for these or whatnot, but those first 2 episodes or whatever release, are those going to be huge numbers? And then the next week it's going to be nothing because a lot of people who haven't been keeping up with it are like, wait a second, this isn't fucking Jason. What's up with that? Like, you're right. It could happen because it's like, it's definitely something that, like, as the littlest blip that we have on this platform, I mean, like we still have plenty of videos that perform way below what like some of the greatest, biggest horrorist YouTube channels are doing. And even those, if you look at our numbers in comparison to them, they're about on par when it comes to Friday the 13th stuff. It's weird. It's like they post something about Friday the 13th and it still underperforms in comparison to their other stuff, as opposed to when we do it, like non-existent. And I know there's a ton of you who love this stuff, but it's so weird. It's like, it almost feels like there's nothing in the ether, the entertainment, pop culture sphere online for Friday the 13th anymore. Like, it's been so dormant for so long that there's nothing left for it. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. And like looking at something like Halloween, and that had a huge release in terms of theatrical releases. So it was hard to escape the marketing, the buzz around something like Michael Myers when that had come out with David Gordon Green's version of it. But so this is going to be a TV series. And, you put it up to something like Welcome to Derry, where we got to see that early. Pennywise is still very much a horror icon, especially with younger audiences. Bill Skarsgård version, everyone seems to really gravitate toward that. But even Welcome to Derry, I think people didn't catch on to that TV series until like episode 6 or 7, and then people started really talking about, okay, this one scene was really well done. And that's kind of what got memed throughout the rest of the duration of Welcome to Derry. And then people started talking about it. But it's like, not having someone the caliber of Bill Skarsgård with the personality of Pennywise, and not having the marketing of Michael Myers and Halloween being released in the theater, could this fly under the radar and be like, wait, what's Jason Voorhees? What's Friday the 13th? It's going to be on Peacock. I mean, like, am I going to sit down and make time for this around the Halloween season? Or am I just going to, do I want to go to the theater to be scared? It's going to have the same effect, I guess, especially when we are not just focusing solely on Jason it's going to be Pamela Voorhees. It's going to be the whole story. Is that going to be an overabundance of narrative that people aren't interested in seeing because we're not going to be, it's not going to have someone like a Jamie Lee Curtis to navigate the waters, be like, oh yeah, this is a familiar character. This is connective tissue. We're kind of restarting. Yes, we're going to have familiar characters, but they're not going to be played by familiar actors. We're kind of just starting from scratch here.
Yeah, this is a great point. Obviously, very much understood. Yes, if the script and directing is good, anything can be done and be good. Yes, I agree. That is always going to be key. And it's just like, it's one of those where it's like, I wonder though, because there's tons of stuff that arguably comes out that is great, that is underappreciated, that gets overlooked. And a lot of things like, I don't know what it was exactly that canceled Mindhunter. If it was low viewership, that's crazy to me, because that show was like amazing when it comes to the writing and everything that they brought to it, but still it didn't make it past 2 seasons, and that's unfortunate. So and now I think people appreciate it now more than ever. So it's one of those where it's just like, damn, I wonder what that's going to bring us. But I see a lot of you guys mentioning Elm Street show. Wonder if this could lead to an Elm Street show. I am going to say this. I'll plant my flag in the sand here. I'm just going to say it. I think that if this show is a success, we will get a Halloween show. And eventually, if they figure it all out and they think it's a good idea, and if anything comes out of the Nightmare Camp, it will become a series. I think that's what's going to happen if this show works. If this does not work, if this is like one season, but it's very middling, basically if it has the same success rate as like Chucky, this is going to be, basically the opposite direction is what they're going to do. Eventually they'll get to Elm Street and they'll go to the movie direction. That's, I feel it in my bones and my soul. That's just how it's going to go. If this works, this is the future of these properties for a couple years, maybe. And then if this fails, then it's all going to be movies.
Yeah, and Friday the 13th is in a unique spot with the rights and everything like that. So, from my understanding, I think they had to go the TV route with it, and eventually, hopefully, plan to do some theatrical releases. I honestly think in the horror space right now, with the way we consume media, that a lot of these iconic properties are, regardless, going to be going the A24 Texas Chainsaw Massacre route, where we're going to be getting theatrical releases as well as a TV show. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like. I think there's so much story to tell and so much lore to expand upon that you can have both. And so I could easily see universes taking place where it's like, we have the TV series, we're tackling something different in terms of like Nightmare on Elm Street, where it maybe just is Springwood, maybe it is Freddy prior to becoming Freddy, and it's, him and the murders and things like that. And then theatrical releases are him in the form that we know, and he's haunting dreams and things like that. So I could easily see that. I mean, we're seeing it work with It as in Welcome to Derry. It's like after It Chapter 2, I don't know necessarily. I know I wasn't clamoring for anything else in the universe, but then Welcome to Derry kind of
it was a huge surprise. Yes,
reignited my interest because I enjoyed the first Chapter 1 to an extent. And Chapter 2, I just didn't really like at all, so, but it's like going into Welcome to Derry, it's like, man, I want to see another season of this. So it's like, we're seeing that work really well right now. I think that's probably the bar, the example that we're setting, for this. So it's like, I could easily see Texas Chainsaw Massacre is obviously going to be doing it. They announced that. I could see Friday the 13th, if they get the rights on board, I can see that happening, but I could also see, I know they talked about a Halloween show at one point. I don't know if that's still on the table or not, but we talked about just weird things happening in Haddonfield. That could be really interesting, going the kind of Halloween 3 route with it, and then also having eventually Michael Myers back in the theatrical releases. So it's like there's so much lore established with a lot of these iconic franchises. I could see these coinciding, where it's like we have the TV series, and we also have the theatrical releases as well.
Yeah, it really is the future of some of these properties. I really think is going to hinge on this show in a big way. And that's still, I don't know how to feel about that. I still for every bit of like positivity I want to give this, I am just still just like, I don't know. It's too much pressure. It's too much right now. And I'm just kind of like, I have to wait till the trailer. And then I think you'll start to also see, I think maybe the trailer will be the first time that we can really say how the internet really feels about all this. The broader internet. I mean, not the horror community, not all of us here who obviously we all keep up on this shit. Even the people who aren't like huge Friday the 13th fans, but if you're horror fans, I'm sure you're more well-versed in what's going on than, you know, most of the people out there. Like, I don't see... You know, it's hard to say people in my family, my direct contact, I kind of keep them informed. But like, there are people down the road, people I know who are just going to be like, oh, Crystal Lake show, they're doing this? What the hell? Like, they never heard of it until they see this trailer. So that's going to be, I think, that point where we really see, is Friday the 13th really that dead and gone? Or is it going to be something that, like you said, is it going to have the Halloween effect? Is this going to be like one of the biggest shows of the year? I imagine it will be, at least its premiere. But I'm going to be very curious to see what happens once that trailer finally drops.
This is honestly really nerve-wracking because unlike all the other properties that it's like, hey, Welcome to Derry didn't work. Okay, whatever. I mean, they could do a Pennywise story down the line and release it in theaters. Same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Leatherface. It's like, well, TV series doesn't work, just put your money in the theatrical releases. And pretty much any other horror franchise, with the exception of Friday the 13th, because of the rights. So it's like, you know, this is probably going to be the best that we're going to get, at least for right now. So if this doesn't work and it falls by the wayside, we're probably not going to see Jason again until they get those rights figured out, which has been a complete mess for so long that I have no faith that they're going to get anything figured out. So it's like, it's a precious franchise, certainly to us. And if this doesn't work, man, the stakes are really high here. And that's why it's like, I'm so nervous that they have to get this right, that we have to see more of this.
I mean, it is my favorite slasher franchise of the big ones, of the Mount Rushmore of horror people. I've said it a million times. And I want more than anything to have awesome Jason movies again. I want this franchise to come back in a big way. Because, like, yeah, I wanted to touch back on this. I do love this idea, though. For some reason, I don't know. I did get a strange, almost like Friday the 13th-y kind of vibe from Back to the Future, just with all the kids and stuff. Like, it was probably just the fact that his dad was also in a Friday the 13th movie, George McFly. Yeah, that's just, I think that could totally work. But yeah, it's here. So the problem is that we have the original Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Texas Chainsaws are better movies than the original Friday the 13th. And yeah, it's like, I see that. Oh, what is this real quick? I don't see it very much. LOL. Still haven't seen Chucky. Oh yeah. Yeah. Friday the 13th is a rare franchise where almost everyone likes the sequels more than the original. And yeah, that's going to be a huge uphill battle for this, because yeah, it's like, that's the thing about this franchise is most people, whether they know it or not, are identifying this character with a character who's predominantly his main look. The hockey mask isn't even there until the third film in the franchise. So it's like, this has had a bit of an identity crisis from the beginning. And I wonder if there's a lot of us here who are younger, or at least people who, when the movies were coming out, were on the younger side or growing up with them, who maybe have never seen it from this perspective, where maybe Friday the 13th has always been kind of a lesser of the big horror franchises. Is that something that we have to face facts on? Is it that, or is this truly one of the big two? I would put this right behind Nightmare on Elm Street. I would say Freddy's probably the most iconic horror villain of all time. I'd probably put Jason right behind him, if not Michael Myers.
I think, looking at the original Friday the 13th, it's so vastly different than what we get in the subsequent sequels, because, Jason is catapulted to the forefront, and we really work into that slasher rhythm that we get, down the line in the rest of the installments, where it's like something like Nightmare on Elm Street came out after, Friday the 13th had found its rhythm, and it focused in on the slasher genre. And you look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's like Leatherface, they plucked him out, and he kind of became a slasher through the rest of those sequels. So it's like they were trying to tell almost who done it in the original Friday 13th, and then it just became a slasher, with Jason. So it's like it has such a different vibe. So it's going to be interesting to see them mesh that storytelling in with the slasher stuff that we want with Jason in Crystal Lake. But I think when we look at horror icons, at least for me, he's easily in. I think I love Freddy, but I think Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees are my two top slashers. Those are
100%.
Those are the guys. But I love the story attached to Nightmare on Elm Street. But I think when I think about it, those are easily my top two. So it's like I when I go to Friday 13th, I saw part 4 before I saw anything else, and then I went back and saw Manhattan, and I think Jason Lives. I think I saw part 5 before I saw the original because I knew it was different. So it's like it just has a different vibe. It has a different story that it's telling than the other slasher portions of Friday the 13th. So I understand that, that's no one's go-to. It's not really my go-to. I go back and I respect it, but it's not my favorite because it's not scratching the itch I want from the slasher subgenre. It just feels more so a whodunit. So it's like I understand that not everyone likes that original, and it makes sense because it isn't what the rhythm that we get, the format that we get with our typical slasher. But I think Jason as a slasher is easily in the conversation of top 2.
And I think the opportunity, and then I will lay off with this because I feel like I've been harping and just sitting on my soapbox here the whole last half of this episode. But I'm very passionate about this franchise. I think one of the things that this show has the opportunity to do is take away the stigma of that first film, because in a lot of ways this conversation has even enlightened me to this, just as we're talking about it and the chat's going through, I'm reading this, it's like that this is really a franchise that the first film is almost the redheaded stepchild if you look at it of anything. I mean, even part 5 has Roy, it's still a hockey masked killer, and it's like I would say the first one to a lot of new coming fans will be like, oh, Jason's mom, who cares? And if you watch that movie, admittedly, yeah, it's slow and it takes its time because everybody who starts that movie nowadays at least has some inkling or has had somebody tell them, at least a parent or somebody, or has seen another one of these films to know that Jason's mom is the killer in this. So the big reveal, the twist you've been building up to the whole time, everybody knows it. Crystal Lake has an opportunity to do that same thing, but give us a much deeper psychological look at it and a much scarier look at it. And actually, I think redeem that first film for a lot of younger audiences. Really make it be like, damn, I love Hockey Mask Jason, but holy shit, Jason's mom is a bad bitch. Because I feel like a lot of modern Friday the 13th fans don't know how bad Pamela can be. And just, I think this could be a big redemption if done right. So.
Yeah, I think we can have a real fun balancing act. It can, like Bates Motel, I think, put a new spin on Psycho, and kind of gave a modern audience some context and texture to those characters that maybe we didn't get or people didn't even check out with those original films. So I think Crystal Lake can do very much the same, especially if we do a time jump and we can do certain psychological aspects with Mrs. Voorhees, but then also see Jason in terms of what people really want in that slasher and kind of mix it up depending on what stories we're telling and how far in terms of that first season, how much ground we're going to cover. So it's like if we're jumping from different time periods each episode and we're getting pieces and parts of all story and then, in the culmination toward the very end, I could see that having the best of both worlds. And really, we have prominence to the Pamela Voorhees character, I think, here. We already know that she's going to be a main player in this. So I think that's going to be interesting. I think we're going to get a new spin on Pamela Voorhees, and people who may know Friday the 13th, but never checked out the original because they know Jason's not in it. I mean, it's kind of like Halloween 3 where it's like Michael's not in it, so we're not going to watch it. So that could be the same instance where, hey, maybe people don't understand the Pamela Voorhees character or didn't go back and check out that story arc that we see in that first film. So this could be really interesting in terms of adding some more texture and context to Friday the 13th lore and kind of getting people put in their seats to kind of be like, okay, give me more of this. I'm hoping that this is going to be treated with some respect because, like I said, there's a lot riding on this.
Austin figured it out, guys. And we're gonna all think that it's gonna be Pamela, but we're gonna turn out it's gonna be Jason. She's gonna take the wig off, and that's gonna be Jason. So, yep, there we go. He got it. Spoiled the series, but no, I agree. I think it's gonna be a bigger than I think we're feeling it right now. But I think this is gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot happening after this movie or after this show. There's going to be a lot of stuff percolating in the horror franchise rooms. So we'll be seeing. Yes, part 6, absolutely. The best of the best. Love that one. Part 4, close second. Very close. My friends all know that Jason's mom is the killer in the first movie, but they just about had a stroke when I told them that part 5 is some guy named Roy. Yeah, I know that one throws people off if they're not already in the.
What if Crystal Lake? It's Roy the entire time.
No, can't happen. Can't happen like that. Can't. He wasn't a part of that part yet. I got a rash on my arm. I think I got bit by something while I was outside today.
Is it a tick?
Spreading. No, it's not a tick. It's just like I might have got bit by like a mosquito or something because it's like itching. But so sorry you guys had to see that. But let me see.
Dun dun dun.
Nope, that's it. I got nothing. Alrighty. I thought I had another piece to this, but it's nothing important. I was just gonna say that, like, with the Friday the 13th series and everything, and then obviously we got that. I know we will more than likely see more series of these, but I want to know, like, what B tier characters do we still need to see reboots of? Like Leprechaun, obviously we want to get him back in the fold, but like I know we have a ton of other characters we mention all the time, like Pumpkinhead. What
Basket
other B
Case? Come on,
Basket Case. Yep. Critters, another one. Like that's it, man. Like we got to get we got to get this this back in action with these kind of like B and C tier horror characters. We could have a lot of fun. They're a lot cheaper, but we can show the brilliance of them. So.
I'm all for it. Let's dust them off.
Let us do it. But alrighty, folks. I think that's going to wrap it up there. That brings us to the end of the Sunday Scaries. As usual, thank you all for spending some time with us. Adrian, I know we haven't heard from you much on these last few stories. This is a very story kind of focused episode. So
I'm a great listener. It's okay.
Lots of Well, this is also one of those things where I bring this up because I wanted to ask you if there was a big series you heard about today, whether it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, that you wanted to maybe do a future watch along with the audience here. Which one would you like to do?
Friday 13th.
Okay. All right. You said it. So we can make that happen. I think maybe what if we did one leading up to Crystal Lake in October?
I'm down. That sounds appropriate.
Yep. So then we can, that's 12 movies. So if we include Freddy versus Jason. So I think we can definitely do that. So that would be 12 weeks leading up to it. So when would that start us? That'd be
3 months.
Yep. So yeah, that'd be like August. Or no, wait, this is coming out in October. So this would be like July. Okay. Nice.
Oh, man, yeah. We got to start soon.
Yep. So we'll be starting soon. But I'd be down. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, it'd be a good time.
And again, because it's like it's
Jason
my favorite
goes to
slasher. I'm gonna be so curious to see what his opinion's gonna be when we get to some of these later. And like Jason X is gonna feel like a fucking acid trip. I mean, fucking Freddy versus Jason is gonna feel like such a left turn after like all the first 4 especially. So thank you. But I appreciate you all. Thank you. So we'll definitely be doing some Friday the 13th watch alongs here. We got to put that on there. I know with the summer hitting us now, we got a couple in the bag. I got some fun ones. I have to basically link up with Erica here and we'll get a couple on the schedule. So keep an eye out. Oh, also I should have put this out a little bit earlier, but if anybody's here and has not joined the Discord, it was brought to my attention a little bit ago that the link I was sharing in many of our videos was only for 7 days. So we were reusing the same text over and over again, and it would like dead link people. So I got this one now. This is all of them have been updated, but this one right here on screen, if you have your phone and want to scan it, feel free. You can join the Splattercast Discord. So we'll pop that up periodically as we go along. So yes, absolutely, Penelope, 100%. That would be great. That would be a really fun way. Because again, I have not sat down and done a straight watch through. I always pick up now in like the weirdest spots of that franchise. I feel like I'm always watching this because I always have to have a reason, I think, to watch them now when we're doing content. So it's like I usually stick around the ones that are lesser than, so we can talk about them. So I'll be excited to just kind of run through. And then plus Adrian, you'll be able to keep up with us on Crystal Lake unless we do it
Get a screener.
unless we get a screener, yeah. But which you could watch it all with us too. So
yeah.
Boom boom pow. I'm stoked.
Damn. I'm sorry, Smiley. I don't know why that's it should be if you scan the thing on there. I will I should see. Let me get you a fresh link. I'll just drop it in there.
A fresh link. Yeah.
I'm trying.
That should be exciting. And we have another exciting week here on the channel. Passengers coming out. So we didn't get time to talk about that one. But that should be interesting. Coming out toward the end of the week. We'll make sure to check that one out. Hopefully get a review out by the end of the week, by Friday.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any issue with us seeing that on Thursday, guys. We didn't get a screening for that one or a screener as of right now, so that's probably going to be a Thursday night, Friday morning like review for you guys. So just keep an eye out for that, but we'll have it out there. We're not going to miss that one. I like Andre Overdahl a lot, and honestly, it's like it was weird not having a movie to go see this week. It had been a while. We'd been on a real run for a while there, so.
Yeah, it was wild, but we had seen the session a little bit early, so we had a little bit of a week off. But then I'm working on some horror gems for the end of the week as well, and I know Dylan's working on something special too. And we're compiling a Backrooms video, which will be very interesting for next week. Which that'll be Backrooms is next week, so man, we'll probably talk about that on Sunday Scaries here to come.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. So. There you go, guys. That's going to wrap us up here. So until next time, thank you. I'm Dylan Newell.
I'm Luke Janesco.
I'm Adrian Morris-Jones.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the horse shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna smash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna smash your ass.